I'm really excited to come and share with you today one of my favourite things about my forever business, which is recruitment and having a bit of a strategy. 2020 was an incredible year for everyone who decided it was going to be. And I think that's the thing. I think that's the key. It's deciding that you're gonna do it, and that you're gonna have goals that are more important to you or greater than your fear for not achieving them. So let me share my slides with you. I'm hoping you can see that okay. I did have a few problems in the warm-up this morning, in the practice this morning. I wanted to encourage you to have a look at and think about your own recruitment strategy for the year ahead. And I hope that I can do that by reflecting on my recruitment strategy for 2020. And just share with you really some of my top tips and what I got up to during a pretty crazy year for all of us. So for those of you who don't know who I am, as Jane, her very lovely lady, has said, I am Claire Massie, and I do build my business around 3 children. They are 7, 5 and almost 3. It's full on and the most difficult job I've ever done, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit later for you. It is a juggling act, but as I said, my reason for building this business is them, really. And I have to share with you that a huge part of my monthly goals are recruitment focused, and we are still in the middle of a pandemic. We're still having our lives turned upside down every so often. Only this week we were told that we would be home educating our children, and I can't even tell you the kind of week we've had in the Massie household. It's been interesting for sure. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? I'm hoping this is going to change. Bear with me. There we go. We've had to adapt. We've had to, I think, have almost like a toolbox of tools that we can be using when our circumstances change, when our lives change, when we're working at work, when we're working at home, when we're working with 3 kids at home, when we're working with one child at home. We have to be able to adapt. And I think that's what's so important about being on a training like today. Yes, last night and today for me have been absolutely incredible. The things we've heard in the order that we've heard them in, I think has been perfect. And it being broken down into, I'm sure you'll all agree, it's what we have to do here is simple, isn't it? We just have to commit to doing it and having that consistency. So, in 2020, when this started to happen, kind of at the end of that first quarter, I think we all had a choice, didn't we, about how we were going to deal with what we were all facing, a totally new circumstance. And yeah, it rocked me. It did. It knocked me. I was worried. I was nervous. I felt anxious about what we were all facing. But actually, then we had a choice, and I felt like I had a choice. I could either let this affect me in a negative way and kind of freeze me a little bit, which it did for a week or so, I will say, or I could be positive. And I could embrace what was ahead. I could be adaptable, and I could choose to be focused on my goals, certainly on my recruitment goals, which I absolutely have. Why is it important for me or for you? Why is it important for you to be bringing new people into your business? We've just heard from Lisa, the 3 stages of getting yourself to supervisor. They have to involve recruitment. They don't have to, actually have to. But really, if we want to follow this business model as it's designed to be followed, it is about everyone looking after that small handful of customers. And the more people you have in your business doing that, the easier your job is going to be. That's the ability to multiply your time, as we talk about in that business presentation. So important. So what are your recruitment goals? What are your recruitment goals for 2020, 2021? Please have a look at them. How many new people do you want to introduce? Are you focused on that team building incentive? If you're not, please go and get it on your goal board. It's such an important incentive to follow. And I believe that there are different pieces of the puzzle. Now, to me, there may be a few others that some people might want to add in here, but these are the main ones. I like to talk to people. It isn't just about contacting people. For me, there's more to it than that. And I'm going to, through the next few slides, take you through each piece of that puzzle. But they're made up of adding new names to your Who Do You Know list. It's really important that we're connecting with new people. The communication process, how we are offering people the opportunity to have a look at the business, how we are taking them through the information, what tools we have available. Your social media, for me, this is key. It's not essential to building a business, but my gosh, it helps. It absolutely does. And I think it's a huge and very important part of this puzzle, which I'll talk to you about later. And then the follow-up. You know, we've heard already, all of our business, the fortune really is in the follow-up, you know, with the retail and the recruitment side of our business. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So connecting with new people. Now, I know we have all, as I said, found ourselves in a unusual circumstance this year that keeps changing. But what we have to be consistent with is having 3 methods that we can use to be able to meet new people. Ultimately, we're paid to make friends, aren't we? We're paid to build relationships. We're paid to network. And this does keep changing. At some point we're in lockdown, and some points we're not. We're able to get out and about, and we're able to be in restaurants and things. And one of the things that we've looked at as a team is what actually can we be doing in those different times? So there's lots we can be doing with our original Who Do You Know list. So when you start your business, you're asked to write a list of people that you know, who you've ever been in contact with in your life. And the reason you're asked to do this is because you'll see success that way. You're more likely to introduce somebody into your business that you already know, a warm market prospect. Now, I know from my experience, I was asked to do a Who Do You Know list, but did I do it properly? No. So my question to you is, have you done a really, really thorough Who Do You Know list? Have you got the actual documents that you're writing on? Have you looked at the memory jogger in your First Steps to Manager book? Have you drawn a timeline of your life? Have you really, really used it as a kind of brain dump exercise to write down anybody that you know, people that you went to primary school with, secondary school with, people who you grew up around your family when you were younger, neighbours, hobbies that you might have, who helped you out when you were getting married, what services did you use, who do you see on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, who helps you with banking or whatever. A really, really thorough Who Do You Know list. And I bet you if you haven't done this, you will add a lot of names, a lot of new names to this. Adverts, social media adverts out and about in post offices, in shops. We can still be doing all of this kind of thing. Many people miss the retail to recruitment link. When we're out retailing these products we're really, really passionate about, how can we be connecting with new people? You know, each time you do a product evening, there should be new faces in there. You know, ask people to hold these for you. Online even, as we heard about from Bernie, getting those new names, you know, and connecting with people, your friends' networks, asking them to come and have a look at the products. These are all names on your Who Do You Know list. When you're doing an experience pack, ask for a referral. That's another name on your Who Do You Know list. So it may not be someone that you will contact straight away about the business, but I honestly pride myself each month on the number of new names I have added to my Who Do You Know list. So I do have a very thorough Who Do You Know list. And so what I'm able to do now is at the bottom, each time a new month starts, so I've got now January, how many new people am I going to be speaking to? How many new people am I going to be connecting with in January? You know, if I get to the end of the month and I have, in my opinion, haven't connected with enough new people, it's my fault that I'm not recruiting. So I always take personal responsibility for the success or the lack of in my business. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And so I need something that I can reflect on and review. How many new names have you connected with? Leaflets and flyers. People are at home. There has never been a better time, in my opinion, to be getting leaflets, flyers, recruitment cards, recruiting now, work from home, balance, cards, dear neighbour letters, whatever it may be, through people's doors, and doing this consistently. I'll talk about that in a moment. Contact marketing. I know this is a phrase that many people either aren't sure of, or it doesn't sound so attractive, does it? But ultimately, this is speaking to people when we're out and about. And I think since March, a lot of what we have had to have been doing has been online. But actually, I worry that maybe, me included, we can use that as a bit of an excuse. Everything has to be online. It doesn't. If I look at the amount of times I've been out and about in the last 6 months in my local area, either with my children, to do activities outside or inside when we've been able to. Have I eaten out in restaurants? Yeah. Have I been to do my food shopping? Do you know what? There's people everywhere. And if you take the time to, when you go out, it doesn't even need to be planned activity, to look at the people that are around you. And if you simply just did that, who may be looking for a business opportunity right now, wow, there's people everywhere. So there's actually no excuse to not be able to add names to our Who Do You Know list. And, thanking the waitress for the service in the restaurant that you'd eaten in that day, and asking them if they'd be interested in coming and having a look at how they could earn an extra income around what they're doing already. That's really powerful, isn't it? And really simple. It costs no money and takes no time. So contact marketing, I think, is still a great one and still needs to be on your toolkit of ways that you can be adding names to your Who Do You Know list. Social media groups, apps that you can have to connect with new people. There's loads of them out there. And also referrals. It's been really lovely. I've had a number of referrals come through my business this last year of people saying, actually, do you know what, that's not for me right now, but I do know someone that's just been made redundant. Is it okay if you have a chat with them? Absolutely. So referrals are really, really powerful. So make sure that you've chosen 3 that you're going to focus on, be consistent with, and be good at. Get good at. Learn how to be good at these things. And commit to adding names to your Who Do You Know list every single month, because then you'll never run out of people. So that's the first one. That's the first piece of the jigsaw. The second is the communication process. And I've put into there, develop your own style, be cool. That's all I feel like I've done really over the last 7 years of working my business, is lots of personal development. How can I be the best that I can be at helping people to simply just feel relaxed about coming and gathering some information about what I do? So we do need to look at that initial invitation. Now, I always feel that there's certain parts of this business that we can control and certain parts that we can't. And the parts that we can are the number of people that we can connect with each month, and the communication process. We can be good at it. It's not going to be perfect for every single person that we send it out to. That's quite different, or every single person that we communicate with, because it might not be the right time for that person to have a look. But we can really work on maybe how we are offering people to look at the business opportunity, what we're saying, the words we're using, how we're able to build relationships with people and find common ground. So this is, for me, the order that I do this in. So we're going to ask people if they're open to having a look at some information. If they are, it doesn't always need to be just about the business and getting them to have a look. It's building a relationship along the way and finding common ground, because we know that the number one reason why somebody joins a network marketing company or starts a network marketing business is the person that sells them it, is the person that presents it to them. So this is why I kind of say, be cool, because if we're coming across quite desperate, we need to recruit, we need 2 case credits, that shows. They'll feel it. And so I think you're able to be cool about this process if you know you're speaking to enough people. Then we know, and I'm hoping you can take some inspiration from people who are regularly introducing people into their business. If you're speaking to enough new people, you're consistent with that for months, you will recruit. And so then it enables you to relax. And actually, then each individual that speaks with me, I want them to just simply feel that this is just an opportunity. I'm just providing them an opportunity to come and have a look at what I do. I don't know if it's for them or not. Only they can decide that. And that's the key. Because once you've got somebody to a point where they're having a look at some information, you can't control anymore. You can't control whether this business is going to be for them or not. And so I quite quickly realised that, don't try then, Claire. Don't try and control that. Allow them. And I think, when we're selling something to someone, there's a bit of maybe a stigma attached to salesmen or women. And when you're in an experience where something's being sold to you, often your guard's up. And so I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to sell them something. I want people to feel like they're just having a look at some information and they can decide whether it's for them after they've seen it. So then we need to get them the information, however that may be. So you may be meeting them online for an online coffee and a one-to-one environment, sharing with them what we do, whether you're using the one-to-one document or the business presentation, that's totally up to you. They may be seeing a video. You may be adding them to a group. Perhaps you've got a group as part of your team where people can come and have a look at how the business works and see and get a feel for who you are as a team. And then, of course, a really, really important part in the communication process is the follow-up. So arranging the follow-up with that person. So once they've had a look at the information, agreeing an opportunity for you to answer their questions, for them to chat it through, to share their concerns, rather than you kind of wondering when that may be. My top tip is when you are communicating with somebody initially and arranging for them to see the information, however that may be, is already have that in your diary. So look, this is where you're going to gather the information. This is how it's going to be done or whatever. When can you have watched it by, so that I can pop some time in my diary to give you a quick call back and get your questions answered. Then you're not left wondering, oh, will they have watched it yet? Shall I message them? When shall I write to them? That doesn't feel that great, does it? But you're kind of in control of this communication process, as well as just being cool and relaxed. And so, yeah, the communication process for me is a really obviously important part of the recruitment process, and one that we do need to master. And so all I feel like I've done over the last 7 years is listen and learn from different people, learn and do the activity and then review it. What's working well, what isn't, learn from exposing yourself to events like this where you can pick up hints and tips on how people do it has been key, so that then as my confidence grew, I started to develop my own style with it. The next piece of the puzzle is social media. I love talking about this, and the first thing I would ask you to ask yourself is, what does your social media say about you? I every week take some time to go and look at my social media and ask myself, what are people seeing? Go and have a look at the post that you've done over the last 7 days. What is it saying about you? Because remember, they're buying you. I didn't come into this business because I had a passion for aloe vera. I didn't come into this business because of the marketing plan. I didn't even understand it. I didn't come into this business for any other reason other than the person that sold me it. And that's going to be the same for people that go on and join your team. So I just thought I'd share some tips with you about social media. I choose to create intrigue on my social media. I don't want to give the game away too much. I don't want people to think they know exactly what I do. I want them to be intrigued and to think, what does she do? And to help them arrive at a point where they're just going to say, Claire, can I just have a look at what you do? What is it? I see what you're up to. I see you have time with your girls. I see that you work hard. I see that you're helping other people. Can I have a look? And that's great. So my top tip is just to be yourself. You don't need to turn into a forever robot or network marketing, whatever. Continue to be yourself. Don't change. You don't need to change you or what you're doing, particularly on your social media, but you do need to be consistent. You do need to be positive. You do need to be real, is my advice. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I haven't got a huge success story to talk about. I haven't got I don't know what to put. People don't like perfect and polished anyway. So I like to just be real with people on Facebook, and I like having themes that run through mine as well. Facebook is my preferred social media platform. Use whatever you prefer. My advice is get good at one rather than trying to master 59. Get good at one. So I choose Facebook and a little bit of Instagram if I can. I'm still learning how to use that one. But some of the themes I have running through mine, for example, are I love Starbucks, and people know me for Starbucks, and it's really nice to have people thinking about you when they're out and about, and perhaps they spot a Starbucks. Often I'll get messages, Claire, I've just driven past a Starbucks, I thought of you, or I've seen some blinged up Starbucks cups, here you go, here's a picture and I thought of you, that kind of thing. Things that people will remember you for. As an example of a post there, so much so I love Starbucks that much that Starbucks UK actually messaged me and asked if they could feature my picture on their social media platform. How incredible was that? So that was a great story for me to be able to share there. Time with my girls is a theme that I had, and maybe you can't see the wording too well on there, but the middle picture says girly shopping trip. Well, that was the plan anyway. After the first shop, I realised I'm not really sure who I thought I was to actually be able to enjoy a trip to the shops with all three. And I think what all that's showing is that I've got my 3 girls, I've got time with my 3 girls, but actually it's not rosy, you know. I'm normal. I'm experiencing being a mum and the challenges that go along with that, just like other people. And I think if people feel that they can relate to you, that will enable you to build that relationship, and maybe that will enable them to think, well, actually, do you know what, if Claire can do that, maybe I could too. And a bit of fun along the way as well. I did catch my husband filling up the water in the car with a Prosecco bottle, which I thought made a great post, and that actually got a lot of engagement and just made people laugh. That's it. Just be real, be you, be consistent, have these themes that run through your Facebook, and interact with people. You know, it isn't just about you posting, it's about, you know, having a look at what other people are putting on their social media, commenting, liking, interacting, taking that conversation into a messenger chat, using the birthday feature on Facebook to wish people happy birthday. Facebook and other social media platforms will pay you for being social. And I mean pay you in that they will return your interaction with other people with allowing those people to see what you're putting on your social media. So it's really good to be engaging as well. And go live. Go live on Facebook. Great results from some of my live videos. Recently, I did one a couple of weeks ago, just reaching out to people. You know, it was a new year. I know a lot of people, you know, whose lives have been turned upside down, and maybe things aren't so great at the moment. So I wanted people to hear that, you know, from me, that I do have something to offer, and to help them to just be relaxed about coming and having a look at some information. And I had a great response from people that maybe hadn't communicated with me before, maybe had ignored a couple of my messages, come back and say, actually, Claire, I've just seen your video, can we chat? Can we arrange a time for me to have a look at what you do? And so that was really, really good. And I think going live just improves the ability for people to get to know you. It's a bit of a virtual business card, isn't it? Social media is a great way bring your recruitment strategy together. So the names that you're adding to your who do you know list, if you can get them on your social media platforms, that's brilliant, because they can watch what you do. Also, when it comes to the follow-up process, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment, that virtual business card's there, they've had something to watch. So I love being able to add names to my who do you know list, and as many as I possibly can I want to be connected with through social media, so I can continue to engage them, so it's not kind of one contact from the next and they haven't had anything in between. The fortune really is in the follow-up. It is. And, you know, I've learned to be excited to collect the no's. I have. Honestly, when somebody says no thanks, or maybe they've ignored a couple of messages of mine, I will happily take that profile sheet with their name on, and I will skip to my January to December folder, and I will insert that profile sheet in there, because my experience has taught me that these people will come back around. It's not always the right time for them. So when we talk about being consistent, we don't mean just for a couple of weeks. We mean forever, for as long as you're working your business. You can see there, this lady who I've been in touch with in the past had actually ignored 1, 2, 3 messages of mine. And then I randomly get a message that says, "Hi Claire, I'm really sorry. This has just slipped down my message. I just saw a post from your page and it reminded me to message you. Here we are. I'm sorry. I would love to chat." And that is the power, to me, of a virtual business card, which is your social media platform. Yeah, don't be disheartened if you've had a week where you feel like no one's replying to you, or no one's getting back to you, or it's not for them, it's not the right time. It's all right. It's okay, because as long as you're adding new names to your who do you know list, as long as you are, you know, still learning and being the best you can be at the communication process, as long as you're staying on top of your social media, when it comes to following up, you'll have some exciting months ahead, weeks ahead, because people around. I think my record is 6 years from first connecting with someone, asking if they're open to having a look at the business opportunity, to them joining my business. 6 years. And so I would probably say half the people I introduce into my business each month are people that have either ignored me or said no to me in the past. So be excited about that. Do what I do. Skip to your January to December follow-up filing system and put that profile sheet in, because you know in the coming months and years you're going to keep building relationships with those people and follow up with them. So that means you need to be on top of your filing system. It's really good for your mindset to have all of that in place. I've had times in my business where I have felt in a bit of a mess with it. Take some time and get yourself sorted out. It's really, really you know, for me, my filing system is where my future is. It's where my future income's coming from. You know, I love seeing a big full filing system full of people that have said no to me, because ultimately, if you want to look at it like this, there's lots of money in there. But when we look at this, building this business with love, as Lisa said, there's so many people that will reach a point in their life where their circumstances would change, and actually they will be open to coming and having a look at how we can help them here. And that is such a nice place to be, isn't it? So, you know, we don't just need to stay in touch with these people in terms of, are you ready to look at the business now? Are you ready to look at the business now? It's about building that relationships and engaging with them on their social media, seeing what's happening in their personal life. Lisa's touched on this, and I'm really, really glad she did. The 7-day plan document, to me, is vital. Look at that. That's over half of the 7-day plan document sheet that's there for speaking to people about the business opportunity. We need to have on there, who is it that you're going to be speaking to about the business this week? Then, as Lisa's already said, so I'm not going to cover this too much, if you're consistently speaking to people about the business, you're going to have that middle section which says business building follow-up one-to-ones videos, full of people that are either coming in and watching a presentation, you're going to meet online over a Zoom call to share with them, you're going to meet for a coffee if it allows. That section's going to be full. And know that throughout the week of contacting people, sometimes the results don't come immediately, and that's okay. So what I do is, when I have completed everything I said I would on my 7-day plan, I actually reward myself, because it can feel a bit deflating when you think, right, I've done it. I've done everything on that 7-day plan, but I haven't recruited 3 people that I wanted to. I haven't recruited the person that I wanted to. That didn't happen. You need to then have something that, you know, you remember that this is a process we're following. The recruitment process is not just something you can do sporadically. It's something you really need to be consistent at. So when I've done everything on my 7-day plan, I have a bunch of flowers in my shopping, and it may just be small, but I remember Gary saying to me at the beginning of my business, when money was tight, do we need to have flowers every week with the shopping? And now I just think, I work really hard on my business, and if I've done everything I said I'm going to do, I'm going to have that bunch of flowers each week when my shopping, when I with my food shopping. And so maybe a little thing, maybe it might be that you might, you know, enjoy a biscuit with your cup of tea or whatever it is. It might be a treat to you. It doesn't need to be expensive, but just so that, you know, a bit of a pat on the back to yourself, really. So we need to be working the numbers. My activity, I've been asked to talk to you today a little bit about what that looks like. Working my business around the 3 children, it is really focused on recruitment activity. Of course, I use and recommend and look after my customers, absolutely. But I know for, you know, for me to progress and for me to hit my goals and to fulfill my passion, really, I need to be sharing this business with other people. So my diary looks like lots of initial contact messages. It's full of 5-minute phone calls, which I have done training for in the past, so I won't repeat myself today. One-to-ones in my diary, live business presentations, follow-up calls. So go and have a look in your diary. If you've got these in there, brilliant. It probably means you're speaking to enough new people and you've had lots of people say no to you to get these booked in. So I think really that's what the activity needs to look like in your diary if you want to be bringing people into your business. With all of this does come the need to handle disappointment. And it took me a while to grow a thick skin. I'm super sensitive. I remember spending some time crying in the initial few months of my business, thinking, oh my God, am I really cut out for this? You do need to have a bit of a thick skin. People are going to say no to you. This isn't for everybody or all the right time for people. But I think if you're able to just trust the process, all the successful people are doing is committing to speaking to enough new people, to, you know, being the best they can be at the communication process, to giving them something to watch on the social media and following up with people. Trust the process. If it works for them, it has to work for you, as long as you're doing the do. So try not to take it too personally. You need to have short pity parties. If you're finding yourself being really knocked for a long time, you know, maybe something's happened that's knocked your confidence. Maybe someone said they were going to join your business and they didn't, or maybe someone told you that what you were doing isn't so great, or whatever it may be. If you then find yourself frozen and not doing anything as a result of that for a week in your business, that's a big gap that you're going to have further down the line. So we need to have these short pity parties and this important visual reminders, as we've talked about. work on your mindset, important goals that don't allow you to put things down, that don't allow you to take a week off from work in your business. Marry the process. A favourite saying of Jane's, marry the process and divorce the outcome. It will come. I've never heard of anyone who's worked this business and followed everything that they've learned today and it hasn't worked out for. It will, but you just need to be really honest with yourself. Am I doing what I need to be doing to grow my business? And I love Diana's slot yesterday, because sometimes what we think we're doing might be different to what we're actually doing. So it's really important to pick it apart yourself or with your mentor. Now, it is a way of living for me, and I think that that's how it really needs to be treated. It's not like a job, is it? We don't go and work a few hours and then pay for those few hours and then we leave. I'm busy. We all are. We all have our different commitments that we work our business around. But this isn't something that I choose to work for 2 hours a night for, or I don't have set working hours. Of course I have downtime. Of course I have time with my girls. Of course I have all of that. But it's forever for me is a lifestyle. Not only the lifestyle that it's enabled me to create for myself as a result of the income that I earn from the business, but the way I live my life is around my girls first, and my business fits in all and around that. I have that in my mind all the time, because I think that's how it needs to be. I remember having a conversation with Jane about this, that I think that's more of an entrepreneurial way of thinking. It's very different, as I said, from going to a job and working 9 till 5 and leaving it there. This is something that is on our minds all the time. That doesn't mean you need to be performing income producing activity all the time, because of course I'm busy with school runs and mother and baby groups, whether that be online or in person, whatever it is. But I do honestly use the nooks and crannies that I can find. I'm happy to reply to messages when I pull up to Tesco's and I've got the children strapped in the back and they're in my sight, they can't go anywhere. I'm happy to make sacrifices. I'm happy to not watch the telly and have no idea what my friends are talking about when it's whatever TV program's been on, or soap, whatever it is they're talking about. I'm all right with that, because my goals are really, really important to me. And so it is about looking at, what are you prepared to sacrifice? I always say to my husband, I'll see you Friday. I always plan a night where it's just me and him, to have that time. But we both know that the time I'm putting into this business, well worth the reward. Wow, not only now, but for what's going to come. And I heard Lisa say before, sometimes we're working this business in the early stages and the rewards don't seem so great, which is why you've got to have this focus on that long-term vision. Why are you here? And why is it important that you bring new people into your business? You've got to be planned. I can't function without a plan. On a Sunday, I sit down, right, who am I? Where do I need to be? Where do my children need to be? Where am I splitting my time, and where is my time to focus on my business? Where have I got those nooks and crannies? Where have I got those more a bit longer stretch of time to really, really focus? Planning really, really is key. This word comes up all the time, and I've left my word in the. I'm not going to leave my the computer to go and get it, but I so remember a couple of years ago, Jane, when we did that exercise where we wrote a word on a piece of paper, and there were lots of tears when we did that. And I know lots of you have done it, so well done for doing that, because that's really stuck with me. My word has stuck with me so much so I'm keeping it. So the word I wrote down a couple of years ago at that event was unstoppable. And that's my word today too. I've written it in big red pen on a piece of paper. And unstoppable to me means, I did spend a lot of time worrying about what other people would think of me when I was first looking at this business, and also moving into when I had started. And also knowing that actually there's nothing in between, there's nothing in the way between me reaching my goals, but also I want to filter that down to the people that I'm working with, and you today. There's nothing stopping you. If you're connected to the reason why you're doing this, you can be unstoppable. And I've chosen to talk about this on the slide that says consistency, because often it's a lack of consistency that does stop people being where they want to be with this business and hitting their goals and living their dreams. So yeah, I'd ask you to kind of, look at how you can enable yourself to be a bit more consistent in your business, because often people know what they need to do to bring people into their business. We have the skills. It's often the mindset that stops people, the fear, the lack of confidence, or some excuses perhaps that they can find. So for me, my word is unstoppable. There's nothing that will get in the way. Of course, we'll have blips, but on the whole, we're in complete control of our own businesses. We're in complete control of the number of people we speak to, of our social media, of that communication process. And so that's exciting, isn't it? I find that really, really exciting. So I did mention right at the beginning of my slot that this was going to be looking at your recruitment strategy for 2021. I've just shared with you what I did to bring new people into my business, to communicate with them, to give them something to watch and to follow up with them throughout the last year. I'm just going to be doing the same again. For me, it's and repeat, literally. And all that we've heard over yesterday and today, we can't not be reassured that we're in the right place. Look at what's happened. This hasn't been the same in other businesses and other companies in the network marketing industry. I am so proud to work alongside Forever Living, and what we have ahead of us, it has left me feeling more excited about my business than I ever have been in the 7 years that I've been working it. Thank you for having me. I hope that's helped with your 2021. I wish you every success.